The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is June 21st, 2018. My name is Basil.
And this is Gonz, getting ready to travel.
Just skipping the tagline on this one, huh?
I totally didn't have it open. We talk news with Canary Cry Views. My name is Gonz.
Very good. Okay, so you're going to get ready to travel. That's
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that first?
I'll just mention it.
Okay.
I don't have a red MAGA hat, but I'll be rubbing shoulders with some of those folks at the Red Pill Expo this weekend.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Red Pill Man. Okay, watch out, bro. They're going to have all the drones and satellites watching all you dangerous folk.
All us white supremacists, we will be gathering.
Yeah, take some pictures of protesters and stuff. I'm sure there's going to be something.
Oh yeah. I'll make sure that I'll become the biggest political hack by the end of the weekend. I'll be like Red State.
Oh gosh, don't do any of that, please.
Or I can be like the total. I'll tell them I'm from California. I'm here to represent California. That'll go over well at the Red Pill Expo.
The delegate, our Japanese delegate from California.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay. So, I was going to say our Patreon account couldn't take that if you just went full on MAGA. Anyways, everybody here listening knows what we think about the political system. But if you have not yet done so, head over to the Patreon because right after this, we're going to be putting out our extended report. We're going to be talking about Space Force, duh. You know, we try not to talk about too much mainstream stuff or stuff that's going around too, widely spread. But I mean, Space Force is pretty much a dream come true for me personally, and it just sounds like a part of Gonz's heritage. So we're going to be talking about Space Force.
According to the Muppet Babies movie, the Gonzo, the race of Gonzo came from space. That was the conclusion.
Oh, wow. You're going to have so many more YouTube exposed videos now that you've mentioned that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all going to be based on debunking the Muppet Babies movie. It holds the clues to his real shill identity.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Also, in the extended report, there's a drone that spits fire. That's pretty cool. Yes. And we're also going to be talking about a huge new reveal in cyborgism that came out like today or yesterday.
Yeah. Well, yesterday,
yeah.
The TED Talk.
Something like that. It's a TED Talk. It's nuts.
It is nuts.
And just so we have it on the record, sorry, we're a couple days late. I was traveling around and I didn't have the mobile unit on me. So
in fact, we probably would have published 24 hours early if it wasn't for the fact that you were up for 87 hours straight or something crazy.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't sleep for a very long time. It was bad news. But let's get into this. Yes. Okay. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're talking a lot about tech stuff. I know that comes as a huge surprise to people around these parts. But this is a report from Reuters.com. UN glimpses into blockchain future with eye scan payments for refugees. Yeah, this has got all sorts of fun stuff all in one. This is like a treasure trove of articles here. You got the UN, you've got blockchain, and you've got bioscanning here.
Yeah. And the refugee thing, especially right
and the
now
refugee
with,
thing,
the whole southern border crisis.
Yeah, man, this article is crazy.
I feel like this article, just as a setup, we don't usually talk about those mainstream topics that are happening, but this is one where I feel like the whole immigration topic and the refugee topic very much overlaps with the topic of blockchain and everything that we discuss here.
This is an intersectional article with everything.
Yeah, everything
we love
comes
to talk
together
about.
with this one article.
Yeah, everything. Okay, here we go. Jumping in. Rome. Thompson Reuters Foundation.
Beast system.
Yes. Thousands of Syrian refugees in Jordan's Azraq camp don't pay for their food with cash, but by a scan of their eyes. Purchases are then recorded on a computing platform based on blockchain, the technology behind Bitcoin. Iris recognition devices at the checkouts of the camp supermarket authenticate customers' identities and deduct what they spend from sums they receive as aid from the World Food Program, WFP. The UN agency launched the futuristic system in May as a 1-month pilot involving 10,000 of Azraq's more than 50,000 inhabitants in a bid to explore blockchain's potential to cut costs and bottlenecks. It is now looking to scale up the project to reach more than 100,000 refugees in several camps across Jordan by the end of the year. Quote, "We feel this is a starting point," said WFP's Director of Innovation, Robert Opp. "There are a number of potential uses of blockchain that could dramatically change the way we reach people in terms of our efficiency, effectiveness, and security. Blockchain, which first emerged as the system underpinning the virtual currency Bitcoin, is a digital shared record of transactions maintained by a network of computers on the internet without the need of a centralized authority." Then they go on to explain blockchain for a while, which by this time, if you've been listening to this show for a while, you should be an expert. Basically, Gons, what's happening here is the World Food Program. What they do is they take, donations and grants and money from governments and, dark black budget bribes, and they basically provide money to refugees in order to purchase food. Why are they not just delivering food? I don't know. They give straight up cash to refugees to pay for food, that's good. Refugees got to eat. But what they've been experiencing is it costs a lot of money to give money, like to, bank transfers, printing cash, all sorts of stuff like that. It all costs a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, especially when you're transferring money into 10,000 accounts for refugees, or printing out the money for 10,000 refugees to go buy food with. I mean, there's some extreme cost to that. And what's happened here, there's also a nice little info video that we've watched, but doesn't make for good podcasting, that using the blockchain and the decentralized system to transfer currency into digital wallets for each one of these refugees has cut down just the cost of giving money by 98%, which is a wonderful testament to what is so great about blockchain. And, the moving money around is it's much faster than moving it with a bank where you have to wait a couple days and pay huge fees. Blockchain, relatively instant and super cheap. Now here's the rub. In order for these refugees to access their blockchain accounts, they have to scan their irises at the marketplace. That's
my little eye.
That's very good.
Iris.
Eye scan. Yeah, very good. And so, what we have here is sort of it's almost like a testing ground for this cashless society, this digital identity type of reliance. And of course, because, it's the UN, they're testing it on refugees, people who don't know any better or can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip the middle part of this because it just kind of talks about the bank fees. Mining for ideas. Misappropriation of funds is an issue across the whole humanitarian sector, so it's little wonder that other agencies are also studying blockchain, says Yoshiyuki Yamamoto, special advisor for blockchain at the UN Office for Project Services. In 2012, former Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said 30% of all UN development assistance was lost to corruption.
Wow.
If we don't, 30%. A third of all the funds used for UN development assistance just disappears to corruption. Quote, if we don't know where 30% of the money is, that's a big concern for everyone, said Yamamoto. In January, innovation units at UNOPS, the UN Development Program, and UN Women, started an informal grouping to exchange information about their blockchain work. The club has since grown to about 10 members, including the UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, and its refugee agency, UNHCR. It's a waste in time of resources if 16 plus UN organizations are doing the same thing separately in a silo. Anyways, the article goes on about how all these UN people decided that they could work together to make the blockchain help the world, which is, it's nice they're finally catching on.
I was going to say, it's been really interesting because the SEC, well, they just said that the Ethereum and Bitcoin, all this stuff, they're not securities, but they've been very slow on the uptake with some of these technologies. And then all of a sudden, boom, we use blockchain to track refugees and to let them eat. I mean, it's a little, it's a little nefarious, I have to say. And
well, especially because, I mean, here in America, now that, this is the UN, I'm not expecting anything more from them.
That's true.
But, especially here in America, where we're so concerned about tracking and bioscanning and all of these sorts of things, giving your retinas and your retina scans in order to, you're basically placed in crazy databases that are going to track you, and what's that movie where they had iris scanning and you had to you could go to a dark alley and purchase new eyeballs so you could go off the grid. You remember what that was?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the movie. It might have been like a Mission Impossible or something, but
yeah, I think it was a Mission Impossible or something with Tom Cruise. Who knows? Oh, nope. You know what it was? It was Minority Report.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, that's the movie we talk about all the time.
There you go. Did it.
Maybe we
Minority Report continues. So anyways, now, I mean, the most nefarious part about this is, they're refugees. They don't have, I mean, and who knows, but I'm guessing that they were not given a choice to participate in this program. And it's either do this or we don't know how you can eat.
Well, that's what's weird. It's like, what did they do? Like, oh, you want to eat? Oh, come here, fill out this form, stand right here. And, and then they're given their, into their little digital accounts. And then they have to
soundboard fun.
I'm saying, man, and then they have to get their eyes scanned every time they want to eat. It's very, and the fact that it's refugees also just goes into that whole Revelation 13. The rich and poor, anybody can get this thing. But again, the hypocrisy a little bit with the international institutions. Let me just the Bank of International Settlements just came out with a report, and they completely blasted cryptocurrencies. And we're not defending cryptocurrencies per se. But, when you read through the thing and you find lies in there or just like inaccurate statements, that's when you're kind of like, what the heck? And especially after the fact, and you find out that, the UN is doing something like this. In the report, just as a side note, the Bank of International Settlements said this, that, one of the reasons why, crypto is going to fail is because at the most basic level, quote, to live up to their promise of decentralization, they require each and every user to download and verify the history of all transaction ever made. And that's just not true. That's categorically not true.
Not how it works.
I know. And it talks about, it's 50 gig. It's going to end up to 170 gigabytes per person. How is anybody going to use such a, and it's like, well, they don't get what's going on. But anyway, at the same time, they're like, well, let's use this technology to track refugees and make sure they can eat. And it's just a little double standard there that I think is worth noting. And,
now, I will say this is it's at the same time horrifying for the oncoming beast system.
Yeah.
If you're tracking that, it's also a pretty good advertisement for blockchain. I mean, you can track, theoretically, the blockchain would help to prevent 30% of your entire budget disappearing due to corruption, because you can track where all the money goes. That's a very good idea. So we kind of have this mix of, and as it always is, a mix of positives and negatives.
Yeah, it's chipping away.
Inevitably, moving us closer towards what we know is coming.
Well, maybe it's why Trump pulled us out of some of the UN deals there. He saw the books. He saw the money missing, and he was like, "Well, we should probably get out of that deal."
Yeah, he's like, "Well, there's so much money missing. How am I going to get a cut?" Yeah.
Well, the reason why we wanted to bring this up as well, and I mentioned the immigration thing at the beginning, it is a big topic, and we won't talk about that specifically. But I think in the
because the entire internet is on fire.
Oh my gosh, it is out of control. It is out of control. I've never seen. I've never seen just. I'm speechless at some of the things I've seen people say. Some of the things people have said to me on Twitter and stuff. It's just out of control. Anyway.
Well, if you just weren't such a white supremacist.
I know. Well, but here's the thing. In the concept of the Hegelian dialectic, it's familiar to, as the listeners, you're probably familiar to the idea of a control mechanism through problem, reaction, solution. And the problem being, immigration, illegal.
Just for those who aren't aware, Hegelian dialectic is you create the problem and then present the solution.
Right. But you need that public outrage first, and that's that reaction part. And so the problem has sort of been there, and this issue has been there for a long time. As I mentioned, I think in our conversation or somewhere else, some of the verbiage for the language of 8 USC 1325A, which is the law that was enforced there. Some of the verbiage was written in 1994. There was a little bit of tinkering happening, so not much has changed there. But the problem has been there. But this reaction that we're seeing in the public is just, this is mind controlled to the max.
Yeah. People, y'all got to check yourself on Facebook, because
this is coming from
brainwashing is showing.
Yeah,
on both sides. Absolutely.
This is
people
not just
are
like
going crazy.
Yeah, this is not like a liberal thing. Although, I've seen a lot more ad hominem coming from that side, but it's not exclusive to them. And there's a lot of hatred from
I
every
think,
angle.
certainly everybody has their faults in that. So this is just your friendly reminder.
Yeah.
Look, don't respond to all the craziness.
Right.
Check yourself.
Yeah.
Say a little prayer. Not everybody online is an enemy. I'm seeing people turn on each other. People who are usually like together jumping on other people for different issues. That people are turning on each other. It's a madhouse in there.
Well, that's they wanted the chaos. We have the chaos. It's the reaction. But now they're going to provide the solution. It could be that Trump did that whole thing today or yesterday, trying to figure out the whole family issue. But, the bigger play with the whole topic of immigration and the solution may come in the form of blockchain technology and, these technologies that are going to be part of the fourth industrial revolution. And while that may solve the problem, and technically it would solve the problem, especially if everybody's on a database, ultimately, it's leading to a pretty bad place, as we always say. So let's move on. We have more proof
think
that this is
outside the
happening.
cage, people. Think outside the cage.
Yeah.
We've been trying to brainwash you with that phrase for 6 years.
It's our NLP. Yeah. New York Times here, how tech companies conquered America's cities. And this comes, again, very apropos topic. It says here, I'm not saying America's cities are turning into dystopian techno-capitalist hellscapes in which corporations operate every essential service and pull every civic string. Really? The rest of the article sounds like that's what it is. But let's take a tour of recent news from the metropolises. Or is that metropolises?
I don't know.
All right, we'll switch back and forth. We can talk about these briefly as we go through these.
Okay.
The first one, in Seattle, the city council decided last week to undo its plan to impose a $275 per employee tax on local businesses, a measure it had approved unanimously last month as a way to address the city's homelessness and housing affordability crisis. Why the retreat? Many of the city's businesses balked at the tax, including Amazon, and no one needed to remind Seattleites that Amazon is very publicly looking for a second city to plant its glass balls. So the council,
that's a reference to the architecture of the headquarters.
So the council caved.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So Amazon very famously, pitting cities against each other to earn the next Amazon headquarters. The mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, announced that he had tapped the Boring Company, Elon Musk's second side hustle, to build a high-speed transportation tunnel from O'Hare International Airport to the city center. Boring said it would fully pay for the tunnel, using no public funds, but it is also very likely to hold long-term lease to the project, capturing all revenue from the private system.
We're 2 for 2 on the
Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse?
Technocalypse.
Yeah, okay.
We got to get that right.
Yeah, we got Bezos, Elon. Yeah, this is our Four Horsemen update. That's what I would say here.
Yeah, well, 2 for 2 so far. Number 3, you've heard of the app-powered centric scooters that descended like locusts. Really? Like locusts? On some American cities last spring.
So it is written. So it shall be.
The startup that run them made a bold bet. Deploy now, worry about legal
niceties.
I was going to say necessities, but it did not look right. Yeah. Niceties later.
I felt that pause.
Yeah. The bet is paying off. Officials in San Francisco, Austin, Texas, and Santa Monica, California have rushed plans for legalization. Bird, the most ambitious of these scooter startups, is now raising money at a $2 billion valuation, just weeks after raising money at a $1 billion valuation.
That's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. So just to review here, we have Amazon influencing taxes in Seattle. We have Elon Musk influencing public transit, high-speed trains over there in Chicago. And now you have these crazy electric scooters and bikes that are popping up everywhere. Have they started popping up where you're at?
No, but I know of very close by my neck of the woods. It seems to be happening with the trucks that pick them up at night.
My gosh.
Yeah, it's just out of control.
Yeah, it's crazy. Overnight, the city was overrun with bikes just everywhere. I woke up one morning and it was like I woke up to like this weird I don't know, world of tomorrow, but everybody's on these junky little bikes that have solar panels on them.
I'm picturing like those movies where people come out in a haze out of their house, like, and then they pick up these scooters and they drive.
That is not too far off from what it was like. I was driving down the road and I go, that's a weird bike. Oh my God. They're everywhere.
Everywhere like locust. This was the prophecy. This is what John saw on the island of Patmos.
The revelation.
Just a bunch of people on their iPhones and scooters.
That's literally what it is. It's crazy. Apocalypse. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. And finally, Domino's Pizza announced a plan to pave America's potholes. I wish I were kidding. As part of the program, Domino's, which has been fashioning itself as a tech company,
that's so smart.
Now that it's battling food delivery startups for mindshare, will imprint its logo into the roadway because apparently Domino's is the government now, and he who pays the paver gets to choose the topping. The Domino's spokeswoman told that me cities could what that. Okay, I'm just going to read what it says. A Domino's spokeswoman told that me cities could forego the logo.
That's funny. Yeah, there's a typo. So yeah, I guess cities could choose not to have the Domino logo everywhere. I actually kind of like that Domino's thing. I think it's fun.
It's a good way to advertise. It's a
sassy
community service.
Yeah, and it just gets the potholes filled, which is very important. Yeah, so that's what I mean. This is literally tech companies, of which Domino's is apparently now one of.
Yeah, they got to, because with all the different types of delivery services and whatnot, they got to step up their game.
I've always enjoyed their online ordering. I don't order from Domino's that often. I'm just not really a fan.
Domino's,
but the fun part about it is they have the little tracker where it's like your pizza is receiving pepperoni. Your pizza is now in the oven.
Oh yeah, I remember. I always thought that was BS.
It's
though.
like,
Come
but
on.
and
How do you?
they've put names on the people now. It's like Dan is checking your pizza for quality control. I'm like, thanks, Dan. I appreciate that.
They're just trying to, get personal so they can get tips.
Yeah, I like it. Well, fill my potholes, Domino's.
Yeah, that at least they're doing something. At least they're trying to do something positive. It says here, across the country, cities are straining. Housing costs are exploding. Transportation systems are overwhelmed. Infrastructure is crumbling, and inequality is on the rise. Yet there's little support from federal or state authorities. Quote, infrastructure week is a punchline in Washington, not a policy. Efforts to raise money for local projects are under siege from conservative activists, while measures to build more housing are halted by liberal ones.
Those dang activists.
Yeah.
Just making trouble all the time.
Yeah. Into the void march the techies. Oh, they're here to save us.
Oh, thank goodness.
Who come bearing money, jobs, and promises of out-of-this-world innovation. But there's a catch. Corporations are getting wide latitude in determining the future of cities. They are controlling more key services and winning important battles with once indomitable city governments. Local officials find themselves at the mercy of tech. They can't live without tech money, even if tech interests have a way of eclipsing every other civic priority.
Gons, we've spent so much time complaining about the government. We should be happy about this. We should be.
We should be.
We're not. We're not
because
we should be.
Technically, I mean,
no. It reminds me of I've recently come out as the gamer that I am. EVE Online is a game I played before and never very often, but anyways, one of the factions you can join at the beginning of this space game is a nation built out of corporations, a technocracy, and it's very spooky and scary. But day by day, we're looking a little bit closer to that. What do you say?
Yeah, and the point of this article is how regular people who use this kind of technology or use services like Uber, for example, which is what the article talks about later, have turned their users into political hacks, basically.
Right. Well, they get you addicted.
Crazy.
You get addicted to the technology, and then you, as a citizen, start putting your political power into maintaining the ability for the tech company to do it. That's how they get you, people. That's why we all need to smash our smartphones and go up to your friend and let them know that they are missing out because they're not listening to Canary Cry News Talk. That's right, everybody. Go out there and rattle some cages.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages. Let it rest!
That's right, everybody. Go out. If you got people who are still paying attention to the mainstream media, they're getting their pap fed to them every day, let them know about Canary Cry News Talk, and we'll keep them informed on all the stuff that they're not hearing about. Hey, make sure to head over to patreon.com/CCNT. That for Canary Cry News Talk, patreon.com/CCNT. We're going to be talking about the Space Force. We got a drone that shoots fire. We're going to be having talking about the new aspects of cyborgism that's coming out. It's going to be a good time. And we've got some other stuff if we get to it. So patreon.com/CCNT. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next week. But until then, think outside the cage.